Organissima, New York. Your exotic skin, hair, and beauty source, and your one-stop shop for all your natural and organic skin and hair care, featuring authentic organic Moroccan oil and prickly pear seed oil and much more. Bringing you only the best, straight from the source and proudly produced in the USA. So what are you waiting for? Shop today. Organissima, New York. Your beauty is our duty.
Folks, welcome back to the iHealth channel, iHealth Radio, with your host, Hurricane H. New day, new show. A topic we've tackled a couple of times before, but it's a topic that's always in discussion and in a very controversial way, I would say. But it's not really that it's controversial; it's just that it's different, and it is a topic about health, but using holistic stuff. And primarily, we're talking about hemp and CBD. And it is funny because I did actually post something on TikTok about a previous show, and they censored it because they say it violated the community guidelines, which was interesting because it is permissible. Most of the states in the U.S. have access to it, and you can. I mean, in New York, and you can smell the cannabis and all the stuff, and so it's available. You can buy it in ShopRite. So again, it's I don't know, that's the whole thing. It's a topic that's always interesting to have a discussion with, but today specifically I have someone who had issues as medical would say, and when she was younger, sick, and then she can figure out those things, and then eventually she had an experience with her own mother, and she found this particular world of hemp, and not only she kind of challenged it and looked into it, but she also created a whole new revolutionary way of hemp. And so again, I'm still being suspenseful as always, but really I want to bring Inesa Ponomariovaite to the show today and have her share her story, and we could talk about all the stuff. What is hemp and the CBD oil and all the stuff, the benefits, the miraculous stuff that has to it, the controversy behind it, and so on and so forth. And, the story, of course. So, Inesa, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me here today.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So, Inesa, your story when you were a younger girl, was that you had some, health issues. Am I getting that right?
Beyond, yes, absolutely. I think it's really good to start from the beginning so audience can understand why this topic is so deep rooted into me and why it means a lot to me and why I care about other people's health and wellness and well-being. So starting with my young age, I was very, very sick. I grew up in Lithuania. I was full of responsibilities by age 12 because my mom had to work really hard and support us. So I was helping my mother take care of siblings and just, it wasn't easy, life. But at the same time, I was very sick. We didn't know anything about nutrition. We didn't know, and we had no resources. At that time, we're living after communist Russia. So food was controlled, and, you could not just go and buy oranges or bananas. So there's low value in nutrition. You stick with very basic meat and potatoes, very acidic, I would say, foods. So of course that caused me a lot of health situations, and my mother just used to take me to the doctor, and the doctor would prescribe me more pills, more antibiotics, steroids eventually. So with that being said, by age, I think my first UTIs, my kidney situation started happening when I was probably 12. And of course, by age, teenager and 2022, I was very, very sick. So to the point where I would be on antibiotics every month, new pills, new painkillers, everything. So with that being said, I really I really, I really kind of was looking for an answers, because how you can have this health problem and nobody fixes for a decade, and at the same time they keep giving you more pills, stronger pills. So I wasn't trusting the this medical route anymore. And what I did, I tried to look for something different. And that time I was living in the United States. So I simply had more resources, of course, thanks to this great country. I had more resources. I was able to look around and I dig into my own world. And of course, I changed my lifestyle. And from the moment I changed my lifestyle, I noticed a little bit of the difference. And when you're so miserable and so sick and in so much pain, that the little positive thing of your day becomes like a big light. So then you want to continue that light. You want to continue that helps you make you feel better. So of course, trying different things after seeing the pharmaceutical route wasn't serving me anymore. It just got me worse, to the point I couldn't breathe. I couldn't walk. I used to go to emergency room once a month, once every couple of weeks sometimes. So I said, when I tried something different, I really wanted to stick and give a full speed. And I did. And within 1 year, I was able to transform my health from being very, very sick to actually a very healthy human being. So I kind of planted a seed in the natural remedies, nutrition, and then supplements. I planted a seed. It wasn't my passion at that time. It wasn't a big thing to me. I was just very grateful. I was very happy to be healthy, function on a daily basis, and to live my life, right? So, but it wasn't that moment where I really wanted to go deep and really figured out what's going on. But that was definitely the beginning of my journey.
That's a lot. That's a lot. And thank you for sharing. I mean, it's so I want to just break that a little bit, because we oftentimes, and I think for people that watching and listen right now worldwide, we may not think that nutrition, proper nutrition, right, is a key to our health. I mean, we don't think about it. It's like everybody knows, we grow up, you eat, and you're supposed to be good. We hear that, like, eat so you can get stronger, right? But sometimes what you mentioned is that being raised in an area where you had limitations, as a younger person, that's something we don't think about often, especially not in the West, because we're grown, pretty much everything is available, right? But a lot of parts of the world, they may not have the same amenities and the same access to food and nutrition the way we have it in some parts of the Western world. And so you don't think about it. I mean, you just brought that, right now to the discussion, and it just kind of like opened up a little bit of, in my mind, like, wow, we don't think about it, unfortunately. And it's at least a good pause to realize that could be a trigger to a lot of problems. And in this case, your body, was not getting all the stuff, and eventually it got sicker. And, it took years for you. I mean, 1 day of bad, pain is enough. And you've had years of that. And that's also a difficult, path. I mean, having you today talking about it like it's just a movie story or something, it's one thing, but you have gone through it physically. And I know every day, every week for you and your family would have probably been a very difficult task. So again, to the audiences out there that are in pain, whatever, our hearts go to you guys, because it is not a simple thing. And again, anyone who has experienced some pain in their life would know what it looks like and what it feels when you have it, let alone when it's long. So now you've tried everything, medically speaking. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. Most people go that route first because that's what's available. And you go to doctors, try to identify your diagnosis, whatever, and then they prescribe certain regimen of things. You try them, they don't work, they keep switching, whatever. And sometimes, it is a trial by error, type of concept, right? You tried this medication doesn't work, let's try a different one, and so on and so forth. And then sometimes these medications can, affect you one way or the other. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they affect other organs, and that's a whole discussion and debate about the benefits of medicine, the good and the pros and the cons. There's definitely a good part of it, but there's always side effects, and we know that. Because traditionally we're supposed to be natural, right? Using natural stuff as opposed to maybe chemically, engineered type of products, if you want to call them that way. But so you came to the States, and then now you discovered the holistic part, the natural path, right? And starting to get herbs and more stuff. Now, technically, herbs are worldwide and they're everywhere. Eastern medicines had used those things, for centuries. But like to your point, depends on where you are, the access could be limited. But in the States, you have both. I mean, you have both routes. You can do whatever. Plus, and you said that the best thing you said, great country, a lot of availability here and opportunity. And it's true because you have both sides. You can do whatever you want technically, as long as it's legal, it's all good, right? And especially with the options, availability and access is available in terms of resources. So you went there and you started to see a change in your health. Now you determined that on your own. I'm assuming, it's not like you met someone and says, hey, why don't you try this route? You just decided that, this is not working. I want to do this. But since it's available, let me go through it. And you did. Now, originally, you didn't go into hemp and CBD. You went just natural stuff. I'm like supplements, herbs, natural remedies, correct? Am I getting that right?
Yeah, I completely changed my lifestyle, actually. First thing I did, I cut off the sugars and very acidic foods that causes inflammation, and inflammation is like a root of the cause for all disease. So when you stopped feeding your body that causes problems, so that itself makes a huge difference. But then you also have to work now as an expert and a holistic medicine coach. I can tell you this, that it's great to stop feeding the cause, which is all these acidic or, yeast and fungi causing foods. And then second thing you need to do, you also have to kill the problem, which is the root of the cause of the problem, right? So there's two things need to happen. So when I changed that diet, when I changed the lifestyle, I never was a heavy drinker, but I was just on the weekends. And I thought that's a normal thing to do because I was just thinking this is part of society, and I completely cut off alcohol. I changed my waters. I changed the water systems in the house. I mean, what kind of water I'm drinking? When I realized there's parasitic infections in that water, I'm like, I have to stop all this. And when I stopped it, that made a huge difference. And of course, I added eventual supplements and herbs. And as I said, the mom's situation was probably the major trigger in my life. So that's the moment where I took myself and my health. Even I was very healthy, never considered to be sick again. But I took myself to the next level where I am today. So, but I truly believe in that route. Again, not because I'm against the medicine. It's just because the medicine never served me, never done anything for me. Besides, there's different doctors, different labels of disease, and more medications, and worse I get. So, and they could never tell me what is my problem. No matter what kind of doctor, if it's in Lithuania or if it's here in the United States, they don't know what is your problem. They know how to give you a pill or more pills, or you try this or you try that, but they don't know where's your problem. So I just simply didn't trust that after so many years of trying, and it just became hopeless. So yes, I truly believe in a natural medicine because of my personal experiences.
So question, did you ever get a diagnosis on exactly what was wrong?
No.
To date. Okay. Well, that's amazing to just hear that, because after all these years, you still don't know what the root cause, but whatever it is, I mean, thank God it's gone and you're, healthier because of your decision and making changes. And now that takes us to the discussion about lifestyle changes. I mean, that's a powerful piece as well. I mean, many of us, you said it best, is that it's the cool thing. We all grow up and we are enjoying the movies. We see the lifestyles. We want to be as cool as possible. And we do exactly those things. We all go through those phases, especially, from, when you're in college days and the 20 years, the decade of the 20s is pretty cool because you just enjoy your life. You know how we have it, 21, I can party now, right? So I can drink. So that's kind of like what happens, and the triggers are there and everybody is happy. But the damage that could be caused. I mean, I've had so many dietitians and nutritional discussions, and it all rolls up to the some of these changes. It is a big deal, and the moment that you learn how to maybe navigate around them and maybe even avoid them, then your health gets better. Because again, we're throwing things at the body that may not be, conditioned, or at least it's not meant for it, right? So all these things that we are damaging our body with, such as you mentioned alcohol, your liver, your stuff. I mean, dehydration, all these things are happening. Bad food can do that stuff. Typically, when you're partying too much, for example, you're not eating the healthiest food. You're just getting junk food, right? And so all that stuff adds up, and it's all damaging. Now, lifestyle is a topic that I think that touches health, period, and out. So whatever you're talking about, good health, wellness, lifestyle changes must happen. And so to your point is the water that you drink, the food, the supplements, the herbs, the nutrients, all the stuff, and some of the behavior, sleep is important. All these things become important to your health. As a matter of fact, I just had a show about nutrition. It was for kids, but the same concepts, happen. Discussions about the same. Now you mentioned briefly about your mom because that is a big story. Your mom was diagnosed with terminal cancer, if I'm not mistaken. She was given 6 months to live. And anyone watching or listening right now, and by the way, I did have that same, experience with my father. Unfortunately, he passed on, but he was very old, with age. And so his body just didn't do it. But he was also diagnosed with terminal cancer. And when you hear that, you try to do the best to fix it, to figure out one way to do it. And it is hopeless sometimes, because you're being told that's it, this is the end. So you just try to make the best of it. In your case, that wasn't the case. You actually, through your research, through your lifestyle, through your work, you were able to almost reverse that, if not reverse it, because you did actually make a difference. And this was like years back, and she's alive and happy and cancer-free because of the changes that you made in your life and implemented with her. So let's talk about that, because for anyone, this could give hope to people. Now, results may vary, depends on what you do, your lifestyle, everything that you do, and those are the realities of things. But in your case, it worked. So what were some of the things that you've implemented to help your mom? And, that whole transition, the fact that here's 6 months and you're done, and here's zero cancer and you're healthy, better than most, right? That in itself, it's a transition. It's just a mind-boggling, type of situation. And people probably are curious about, what was the basic or the main thing that you've done that potentially changed the dynamics. And by the way, this is something earlier about you want to almost remove the ingredients that actually give information and feed the body. So similarly, cancer, it just needs to be fed some stuff. If you eliminate some of these things, there's a good chance, it's going to die because it's not eating, right? It's not getting nutrients itself. So let's talk about that for a minute.
It's a great question. It's the reason why I'm smiling today. Thank you for that. I know when most people get the cancer diagnosis, they think their life is ending. But when my mom was diagnosed, actually was the best day in my life. So, and I can explain it why. I know it sounds pretty bad right now at the moment.
I know it did. We were like, what?
Everybody has the same reaction, but that's very true. So my mom can share the evidence of what I'm about to share. So before my mom got diagnosis, for 1 year, I was asking God, what is my purpose in life? I said, is this it? Is this American dream? You have a good job, you have a nice car, you have a nice apartment, and you start putting savings away, and you live healthy, and this is it? Like, it gotta be more to it, So that being said, I was really searching for myself. I was asking God, what is my purpose in life? I don't want to just be here. I want to do something for the world. I want to be value. I want to save somebody, help people. I always had passion helping people, so I always cared about others. I cared about strangers. So with that being said, when my mother called me, it was 7:00 in the morning in the United States, and it was later in the evening in her country, in Lithuania. So she said, I have cancer, I'm dying, I have 6 months left to live, and she's crying, bawling, and her life in her mind is ending. And it was early morning to me. I was getting ready to work out, and from the moment I picked the phone and I answered, and she said that. And God knows this. That was the moment where God answered my prayers. And I saw myself doing whatever it takes to save my mom and learn everything about cancer. Every possible information is out there on cancer, and helping my mom to overcome that. And when she overcomes that, helping other people. Because I went through this past where I had my own miserable life, being unhealthy and, all kinds of conditions of disease. So already knew that the holistic medicine, the life changes, is actually really the ones producing results. So when that happened, when my mother called me, I said, Mom, your cancer is literally saving lives right now today. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. Today, we saved hundreds and hundreds of lives because of my mom's cancer. If it wasn't for my mom's cancer, these people would be dead today. And these people are walking alive, walking testimonials everywhere, the ones I worked with. So with that being said, my mother got diagnosis. She said, I need to start chemo, I need to start radiation. I said, Mom, I'm flying back home. So the same day I took off, I called my boss. I said, I'm not showing up at work. He said, for how long? I said, I don't know. He said, where are you going? I said, whatever it takes, anywhere in the world to figure out everything about cancer. And he says, okay, I guess I'm going to let you go. So I immediately flew in Lithuania. The same day I took my passport. I took into first available international flight. Took me 2 days to get there. And guess what? 48 hours, I was standing next to my mom and I said, we got this. And that's exactly what happened, and I'm not going to lie. In the beginning, I really did not know exactly what I was doing, but I was so passionate. I was so in desire to know everything. So I would just read, consult, connect. If people would say no to me, scientists or doctors or anybody I was interested to talk to, I wouldn't take no for an answer. I would knock their door. I would fly to see them. I was just so in such a major desire to know everything about cancer and how to cure the cancer, because I already knew that is there a way to do that, but I just didn't know how exactly. And I knew somehow related with nutrition, somehow related to herbs and plant medicine and all that stuff, but I didn't know exactly how. So I went to really deep route on this cancer research. And yes, we didn't do chemo, we didn't do radiation. And within 4 months, actually, she called me and she said, we applied a lot of work. As I was learning, I was immediately applying on my mother. So what happened is she called me 4 months later. She says, I feel the happiest woman in the world. I don't know what happened, but I feel like I was living in a dark cloud and this dark cloud is gone. And I feel like I see people now. I see sun. I want to love everybody. I don't know what's going on. I said, Mom, really? It's like some weird transformation happened in your body. She's like, it's like a darkness walked away. We couldn't explain that time what was happening. I said, Mom, I think I wanted to check with the doctors exactly where you at with your cancer journey, and let's check on these tumors and everything. So with that being said, when she went to the doctors, they said there's no cancer found, she was cancer free. So it didn't even take us 6 months. It took us a 4 hardcore, strong work of 4 months after the doctors in Lithuania diagnosed her of cancer free. So with that being said, I was just fired up. Oh my gosh, that was exactly that moment when my mom called me and she said, I got cancer, and I saw me helping my mom, dedicating hours and hours, days and nights, 7 days a week to do everything on this cancer topic. And I got so excited when she became cancer free, and I just started sharing this knowledge with everybody around me. And of course, people started improving, and I was just helping people, and people start seeing results and things like that. So with that being said, that's how my cancer journey started. But then when I was helping people and improving people, I used to do that after my work hours. I was just simply, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to help people. So got to the point where people really start calling me out and we need you here, we need you here. And, and I'm a hardworking person. I always worked really hard my entire life, get up super early, sleep a couple hours a day. I know sleep is very important today. I would suggest not to do that. But I was on that schedule for many, many years, 7 days a week, as most people say, very dedicated person. But what happened is I got to the point where people call him out, and I just finished 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning with these peoples and leave people's homes. And I just would educate people, do nothing, wouldn't charge anybody, just educate and sit them and help them and ask them what they need from me. And of course, got to the point where it got really busy. And within probably 6-7 months, I had to really figure out how to quit my job and to really do this full time. And, and ask my mom, I said, Mom, how do you feel to be cancer free? She said, I love to live. So when she said, I love to live, that's how I named my first company, consulting company, Nesa's Love to Live. So that consulting company, we helped thousands of people now, hundreds of people with cancer, and thousands of people with multiple other kind of conditions. And of course, until today, I'm into research and to working with the top brains in the world and doctors and Nobel Prize doctors, the ones stepped it out from the mainstream and doing a little bit different things. So today things are different, right? But because I became who I became, of that, my mom's journey and my journey, when I work with the herbs, when I work with water systems, whatever it is, right? Whatever it's in front of us, my job is to know what's really in that product. So when I came to in the cannabis space, and I just knew the cannabis space is not regulated industry, that means you can put whatever you want to put in that bottle and no one is accountable for. So I realized, wait a minute, like this is kind of a bad news, because anybody can do whatever. Like there is no regulations for that. There's no guidelines. There's nothing. Like you can literally do whatever. And I said, that's not going to work, especially for people who are very sick and ill. And most people are very busy. They don't have time to do major research on a cannabis or hemp or CBD products. So what I did, I simply wanted to know which product is the best on the market so I can represent potentially and, recommend to people that trust me and my integrity. So, and I just did a major research online, of course, contacted the companies and stuff like that. What bothered me, that more research I did about these companies or their products, more questions I had. So that's kind of a bad sign. So when you really research something, you should have any answers, and my answers were not happening. And I got really frustrated. And if I get frustrated, that means I'm not taking no for an answer, and whatever the topic is. So what I did, I really connected with all top major players in the industry that time. And I said, I really want to figure out how to work with you guys. Can I just come and visit and to really make sure you are the company you say you are? So I visited many farms. I mean, from California to Oregon, Kentucky. I've been everywhere. If somebody of these people listening, they know exactly who I am. I visited a lot of CBD companies, and I just simply asked them, show me, don't tell me. It's like, what do you want to see? I want to see lab results. I want to see how products are produced. I want to see what chemicals you put in. I want to know how they're grown. So end up a pretty bad show, to be honest with you. I was beyond disappointed to the point where I started crying, because not that I just saw a lot of lies and some people just straightforward lies. Some people try to sneak in things and try to, cheat on me right in front of me and give me some lab results from the different product batches that was done 3 years ago. That product doesn't even exist. So, and the current products are loaded with mold. So I was upset, and I started really picking samples myself and sending to the third-party independent laboratories. And I said, I want to know what's in here for myself. I really want to understand. So I started testing these companies, and I spent thousands of dollars on testing, send the soil samples. Most farmers couldn't figure out what this woman is trying to do. I want to go in your farm field and just pick the soil, freeze it, send it to university and test it. So I wanted to know everything about this, right? And I end up in a position where, wait a minute, like not single one of those companies are really doing the way the plant itself is meant to be, like the way the medicine is meant to be. It's all about profits again, not about people. And that got me upset. And when something gets me upset, I just want to make it happen. So I got disappointed. I got upset. I saw major disconnect, it's all about the profits. It's mass producing, and I got really hurt. It hurt me knowing that people trust these companies and they buy blindly. So I connect with the top world leaders. One, he just passed away recently, cannabis expert. He's the one who discovered human endocannabinoid system. And I want to explain that human endocannabinoid system is the system that is responsible for your body to function in every possible form and shape. That system is already in you. That means you mimic the plant. You have these receptors to be connected with this plant. In fact, this plant is essential to your body. But now my question is, what kind of plant? Are we talking about the ones that the companies I really investigated? Or are we talking the plant we had for thousands of years that no one is really producing in this country? So I connected with Dr. Rafael. It took me 3 months to get him on the call because, of course, he's a worldwide leader and cannabis father, and every university is trying to figure out how to work with him. I finally get him on the call and I said, doctor said, are you aware what's happening in the industry? I said, this is my homework and this is my data. And I shared with him what I found in these products, mold and metals and a lot of dangerous substances. And I said, solvents that are actually dangerous for people's bodies. And I said, the plant itself is so innocent, but what's on the market, it's so evil, it's so dark. I said, do you know any company that actually really represents the plant? I was like, what do you mean? I said, I want every single hemp compound in the molecular structure to be in the finished bottle as it is in the hemp plant. And then, of course, I want to make sure the plant itself is very healthy. It was grown correctly, no chemicals involved, because those are dangerous for our body. That's the reason we got sick in the first place. Your medicine can be full of chemicals if you're already sick from these chemicals because you're loaded with the toxins, and now your medicine is the toxins. That's probably not a good idea. So what happened is he says, I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly where you're coming from. He said, I don't know any company at the moment. And he said, if you ever come across a company like that, please let me know. I'd be interested to learn about these people. And I said, sounds like a very challenging idea, but I'll figure it out. I'm just thinking, if you father of cannabis don't even know this, I'm like, what I'm going to do, like a little girl living in Chicago with this accent, have a mission, to help people. Like what I'm going to do, I'm thinking where I'm going next. I thought I talked to the most genius person that there is about this, right? So with that being said, that kind of led me more like, okay, Nesa, you can't take no for an answer. You just have to continue. So I find there's another doctor. I said, okay, if the world leader doesn't know that, like figure out who is one of the top leaders here in the United States. And that time I connected with the Dr. actually Alif. He's from Harvard University, and he was representing another company. So this gentleman didn't even want to talk to me. He literally hung up on me. I said, oh my gosh, that's a bad idea. He's my last option to talk to because the world leader challenged me and this leader is challenging me too. He doesn't want to talk to me. So I found him speaking in a panel. And after he spoke in a panel in California, I flew to see him and I said, Dr. Alif, I want to connect with you. And I said, do you remember you hung up on me? And it's like, oh my gosh, the same girl chasing me down. I was like, I really need your knowledge. I really need you to tell me. I really need to talk to you, my last hope. And we ended up talking for hours and hours. And he understood exactly what I was trying to tell him. And he supported my idea and he wished me good luck. He says, I know where you're coming from. He says, if you're going to decide it to do on your own, it's going to be really hard. It's going to be beyond challenging, and most likely you're not going to succeed unless you're going to keep drilling all the way. And he says, everybody is going to be against you. And I said, you know what, but that's the right thing to do. I said, do you think that's the right thing to do? He said, yes. So from the moment he agreed with me, I said, can I follow up with you if I ever come across to that product? He said, yes. So long story short is 2 years later, I was able to create the first biological full spectrum beyond organic living hemp CBDa, not a CBD, CBD is a drug. It's a pharmaceutical version. Doesn't exist on the plant. CBDa product. And Dr. Alif is the one who actually eventually became part of our team, and he wrote our white papers. He's the one who trusts our product the most. He recommends to all his patients and other doctors. And I was sending to Dr. Rafael's family and his people also Nesa's products to before COVID, also for the same reason, because people trusted the brand and trusted the product. So it took me quite a challenge to create something very special, but we did it.
I couldn't stop you. I mean, there was all so much good stuff going on in there, but there's a lot to break down from that nice chunk of time. But it's really amazing because you've touched on a lot of things, and I mean, we're talking about your mom's and how the transition and how you were able to help her, and the sacrifices you made, and you I mean, literally just quit your job. And by the way, you did it for the right reason, and it's amazing God works in mysterious ways, as we say. And yes, you did it for the right reason, and everything else, paid back, well. So, and you were able to help her, and again, use different lifestyle stuff, changes, and things like that. And you were able to change her from the cancer to, no cancer. But then that was your trigger to help others. You started your own consulting where you were able, and there's a beauty about helping people when you actually know that your stuff is effective and you're changing lives for better. There's no better feeling than that. So you did that. And then you were looking. And by the way, my question in between here would be, when did you really start, with the hemp? I mean, was it, throughout the process of helping your mom, or this was happening after? Was that part of the actual solution for your mom?
Yes, actually, we use the hemp plants also back home in Lithuania, but we never use like CBDs. We use like a whole plant. Mm-hmm. And since in my country, that time things were super illegal. That was like years ago, and we used the full plant, and I really believed in the full plant because I saw the benefits on my mom. And of course, we did more. If somebody says that the one product or one solution is going to cure somebody, by the way, we're not curing or treating any disease here. We're giving body the energy, we're giving the body the tools for body to heal itself. But there is no such thing as one tool, like, for example, cannabis or CBD. And if somebody says that to you, I'm so sorry, but these people are just trying probably to sell or market something. So there's a combination of multiple things, because the body is a very complex thing. You have multiple structures, you have multiple cells, you have multiple functions, you have multiple minerals. It's just, you need all that support. So with that being said, yes, we used it, but then I wanted also, could my mom continue on the CBD products and the other people, but I just couldn't find the right company I could work with, that I could put my name behind. So that's what happened.
That's when you started the research. And so, but so let's talk about that. I mean, the process that you took and the time that you took, to actually do this, I mean, that's dedication. Now, I mean, to your point, not everybody's going to really just dedicate time to start digging and looking at every potential pharma place. Well, not pharma, like, plant and, or, farm rather, not pharma, farm. And, looking at, go in there physically, check in the soil, check in stuff. Let me see your studies. Let me see your articles. Let me see your work and results. And by the way, even the average person would not even know what to look for. I mean, you give me a report, graphs can be, sometimes misleading. It depends on who's behind the graph and what you would like to deliver. You can show whatever you want. So that's very difficult, but you bounce from one state to the other to try to look. And eventually you realize that, and by the way, you said, we don't want to be negative here, but the idea is that you're not, technically, you can't blame these people. And let me say why I'm saying that, because, to your point, there's no regulation, and there is no, people are doing what they think it's best, and there's profitability. So they, here's the cannabis, obviously you got to produce it in a way. And so you're going to mix it with a lot of things. And that's the thing, natural, products versus products that have compounds. Usually it's not the process, it's the compounds or whatever that's in there that's actually hurting. I mean, even our food has multiple compounds that we shouldn't be even eating, but they're part of the ingredients, right? And so it's the same concept. But you said it, the regulation piece has been escaping, the scene, and slowly but surely it's happening. Some states have becoming more, state levels, they actually get in there. Federal level, that's still, behind schedule, and, there's debates, but again, when is it going to happen? We don't know. Is it ever going to happen? We don't know. At least in the States and some other countries, things are a little different. But to your point, it is regulated, not to regulate in a way, because there's conflict, right? I mean, if you bring in products like this way, then maybe conflicting with other products that are in the marketplace, so that can change the dynamics. And again, that's a political discussion. We don't want to cross that path right now. But, because that, to be honest with you, even from my personal experience, we've looked into introducing CBD cannabis into Medicare, insurance. And of course, because it's not federally, approved, we cannot do it. So therefore, and you cannot work with the state without the federal, because those are, federally funded, programs. So again, that was an idea, because we were trying to figure out, to your point, cancer, pain, especially for the senior and elderly, it's pretty good, it's supposed to be good for at least pain management, right? So we wanted to add those things, but, even as an over-the-counter, we can do it. So that was kind of like, what my personal research was. We were trying to look into this, a few years back. And then we just basically, we can't do nothing about it, because we designed some benefits for beneficiaries, and, try to always find like what is the next biggest benefit that people would love. And we thought that this would be a good benefit, that people can, manage, their pain and be healthier, or at least feel better, right? But we couldn't do it. So you're right, the regulation is not there, and it's difficult. And now you did your other part, which reaching out to the source, like the elite of the elite, the ones like the brains behind all these things, and then they understand these plants and they understand the benefits of it. And you were able to eventually connect with them, but you were persistent. I mean, most people after the rejection on the phone, they would not fly into a panel and say, "Hey, I'm here physically. You hang up on me. I showed up." You did that, right? So that was great. But again,
that's actually exactly what happened. He was shocked. I tapped his shoulders, like, "Did you remember you hung up on me?" It's like, "Oh my worst nightmare. You follow me everywhere."
Well, but not everybody can do that, right? It takes a different personality to actually be, persuasive, resilient, I mean, you have, we can have a whole dictionary about the words to describe, how you're tenacious about your aim. When you said, when I want to do something, forget it, I'll just go crazy, I'll do it, right? Which takes a different personality, right? But then when you discover there's nothing really at the highest level of quality, guess what? And you were told, good luck to find something. Well, you did the one thing that most of people, the right people would do is, if it's not available, let me make it happen. And so you did you started your own company, and that is Nesa's Hemp, right? And so, but what you did, you wanted a product that is pure, no additives, no nothing to it, is really just what it is. And I love what you said. It's really CBDa, not just the CBD. So you went into like, the core, the main stuff. You touch on the endocannabinoid. There you go. I mean, I'm not even going to go there. It's a word I cannot pronounce right now. So I apologize, folks. But you hear from our expert here. But so that's our system. It's our, I guess, hormonal, I guess, conditioning, and it works. I've actually had different discussions about it. I just cannot get the word. I got to practice it a little bit more. But the idea is it's natural. And you're able to match that and be able to really get the response of the body to do what it's supposed to do. And I love what you said. This is not about curing. It's about giving the body the tools to do what it's supposed to be designed to do. And the body is resilient enough to actually take care of business. I mean, we get a wound, you get, a whole army of soldiers of immune system that goes in to fight that, right? Same concept, for your hormones, for your everything. If you treat it right and you get the right ingredients from natural, sources, the body is supposed to do that. The body heals itself every day. We sleep and there's a whole process, right? And there's detoxification, things like that. Provided we don't throw in too much toxins at it, at a time, because I think that's what we're doing. It's just bombarding the bodies with everything that's wrong. and then expecting it to survive. The body is going to do as much as it can, and eventually it's going to give up unless you help it. So you did all that, and then you started your own brand. Now, first of all, you mentioned something that's funny because you said a woman in Chicago with this accent. By the way, I want to highlight that because you highlighted a couple of things: the fact that you're a woman, an entrepreneur, and a researcher, and doing stuff, and also like that you're an immigrant, one that comes in, and that actually has an effect when you're trying to do things. People look at you. Unfortunately, that's we live in a world where people judge you for who you are, how you look, what you sound like, and things like that. It shouldn't be, but it is the fact. Again, none of that stopped you. Again, for people that are out there listening, watching, regardless of what we discuss in the main topic today, just from a business perspective, from an entrepreneurship, from a leadership, from a do or die thing. If you have a dream, you have a goal, nothing should stop you. Nothing can stop you. You pursue it no matter what, and you're going to get there. You shouldn't allow anybody to tell you otherwise. And any limitations that people are stating that you have, that's just their limitations, seeing your value, not yours. And then you make, in the difference. And again, so congratulations for doing that and really being a lead, a model, in this particular, aspect of the things. So again, I just wanted to highlight that because I think that's an important, for anyone out there that's maybe feeling like, oh, I can't do this. I'm different. I can't do this. Who am I? What am I supposed to do? I mean, because some people get all these doubts because you're like, what are my chances? You're only going to find out by doing it, right? So you just keep pursuing and you will get through. It doesn't matter, and any obstacle is just an obstacle. You can remove it slowly but surely. Some are lighter, you can move them right away. Some you have to work around, but nothing should be able to stop. Like I said, if there's a will, there's a way. Always I said that, and you did exactly that. You created this company, and now you're all of. And by the way, you've put in the real people behind it, the top people behind the research and stuff, and to back it up. And now it is in the marketplace. Now, are you only in the States or are you worldwide?
We are in the process to become a worldwide, yes. And we be in the process. It takes quite a journey to do the documentation properly with European Union. There's a lot of politics involved. So we in the process to become a worldwide company. But we are very, very we've been here in the United States for over a long time also. So we have full operations here, and I control all the processes, growing, manufacturing to the finished bottle. Not single one batch is done without my overview. So each bottle is tested in the highest parts per billion from microtoxins, mold, fungi, bacteria, lead, mercury, all the metals. So the first product on the market to receive a safety seal from FDA registered laboratories, which is first company from thousands of CBD brands that we did such a testing, and we became the first one to receive. So, but I can talk about all these different licenses we have beyond organic and clean and all that stuff. That's all great, but end of the day is about people and what it's going to do to people and how it's going to affect their health. So with that being said, I think there's a lot of misinformation, and the reason there's a lot of misinformation on the market, there's multiple reasons. One of the reasons is there is no regulations, so everybody's promoting whatever they want to promote. Some people even say that mold is good for you, which is mold is clearly causes cancer and multiple other disease, Parkinson's and dementia, and you name it. So, but what I wanted for audience to really understand in the CBD industry is that this plant, if it's done correctly, not re-engineered in the high THC levels or not smokables and CBDs and all that nonsense that is happening in a massive scale. And there's a great companies who's trying to do their best, and I really applaud them. And if somebody's listening to me, please reach out to me. I will be happy to share what's the best way of growing processes, what's the best way of keeping the plants healthy so they produce the full medicinal power for people. I'm here to support the good guys and people, but at the same time, I don't want to talk about bad guys, but I just want people to know what the bad guys look like. So when your product is loaded with mold and toxins, you probably want to stay away from that, because your body is having this beautiful endocannabinoid system that Dr. Rafael Mashulam from Israel, the one that didn't want to talk to me, it took me 3 months to get him on the call. He discovered this 35, 40 years ago. We have this endocannabinoid system. That system is responsible to control all other systems in your body and responsible for you to function. When you're born, you produce enough of the cannabinoids in your receptors, enough of those cannabinoids, I would say, to explain it simple, in your body. So you have them when you're born. But when you're exposed to stress, when you're exposed to toxic parasitic waters from the tap, when you're exposed to all kinds of things, EMFs and food and, and things are dangerous to your body, you start losing them. It's called you age, right? In the Western world, oh, you're just old, there's nothing we can do to help you. But to be honest with you, if you empower your endocannabinoid system, which is like car without the gasoline, if you fill your car with the gas, with the oil, you can put all these things, what the car needs to drive again, you can drive again. Your body can drive again. So the reason I think, or let's put it that way, the people needs to know about this, why it's essential, because first of all, you like it or you don't, you already have it in your body. So when people say, oh, this is drugs, yes, there's a lot of bad stuff happening on the market. I fully don't support it. I'm not supporting high THC engineered. We never had that. The plant of high THC doesn't exist. That's 100% lab made, 100%. It never existed. We had always about 6 to 7%, 50, 100 years ago. That's the hemp plant we had. Right now we have 50%. People take it, they start having heart attacks. Their anxiety goes crazy and people go to the hospitals. So that stuff is engineered. As I said, there's no regulations, people going crazy, and it's just a lot of nonsense happening. But the plant itself is essential to you. It's essential. It's not a drug. So for even not to regulate this plant, it's almost like federally, it's not illegal. It's almost saying federally, it's legal for you to breathe because your body needs oxygen to survive. Your lungs, you need oxygen. Same here. You need these endocannabinoids in your endocannabinoid system, fill them up so you can drive again your body, your liver, your kidney, your spleen, your brain, your gut, your central nervous system. All those goes under the same endocannabinoid umbrella. So you're really not doing any harm to your body as long as you're using the right product. So also, there's another thing, and there's thousands of research already done. The root of the cause, I would say the devil of disease, is the inflammation. We have evidence and evidence and evidence on science right now how hemp plant, especially the full spectrum, the one I'm talking about, can really take your inflammation away. You don't have any side effects from drugs. It's not going to cause, as long as the product was done correctly and people had good intentions, the owners of these companies. So it's going to do nothing but going to remove your inflammation, empower your system, and going to allow your body to function the way you're meant to function. So it's essential to you. And I know we're not talking politics here, but just planting a little seed, like why federally things are not legal if they're essential to us. And it's so easy to really recognize this because the plant itself is beautiful. We already have it in our bodies. We are like this plant. You like it or you don't, God made you this way. And it's been proven also to regulate your central nervous system. There's no drugs needed, no side effects, no down, none of those things. It's also been proven to regulate multiple other hundreds of systems in your body, your gut, your spleen, your heart, your brain. How it's come, it's not in this bottle or this product or these plants, not in everyone's garden or shelf. It must.
Well, that's the $1 million question, right? But I mean, again, states, I would say, states are trying to fight the fight, and many more are coming into the realm, at least in the states, to make it regulated and acceptable. And but you're right, it's still infancy stages. It will eventually get there. I mean, just like everything else. I mean, this is the same debate about, carbohydrate, the carbohydrate, what do you call it? I guess gasoline, right? Oil versus, electric cars, whatever. So it's the same concept. It's like you got to transit, you got to give the industry enough time to actually absorb it. You can't just all of a sudden. And so that's where let's talk real, right? This is exactly what it is, right? There are powers, and controls and things like that. And there's industries that can be affected with a shift that's overnight. So therefore, you got to work the logics, right? And that's the world of politics. And we live around politics every day, everywhere in the world. So we can, unfortunately, you can change some of it, but it takes time to make a movement, that's going to go from one end to the other. So you got to find yourself in the middle somewhere. But so again, that's all I can say. But I think I got the word endocannabinoids. Did I say it right now?
Yes, you did it.
All right. So you've been saying it enough. Like, okay, I got to get it done. All right. So first of all, it is impressive to hear you talking about that. You're willing to share knowledge with almost the competition. If I mean, it sounded just like you're not opposed to that because you want people, if they're gonna do it, let's do it right. And it takes a different leadership skills, where you're not afraid of competition and we welcome competition. And any good company would say, hey, we want competitions because we want to be able to raise the bar over and over and do more and more. It's good for products, for sales, but it's also good for the people. So it's a win-win for all. And by the way, thank you for clarifying. I mean, how important in this, and you're right. I mean, the way we hear it right now, it sounds like everybody needs to have the plant, but even the plant itself, like which is real, which is not, which is like, made in a lab versus the natural ones. I mean, there are, and by the way, is it available all over the world? That's the other thing. I mean, now you said you actually oversee the process from plant to finished product, right? You look at the whole thing. So that's the other thing. I mean, are you where are you in the States doing all this process, or is it like different countries?
So it's very inconvenient what we did, and but we did what's the best for the plant and people, as always, because people is our priority. Our farm is in Oregon. Our manufacturer is at the moment moving in Chicago. Our lab is in Florida. And the reason we have all these our warehouses in California. So the reason we have these places all over the place, or it's parts all over the country, it's because, for example, laboratory, our FDA laboratory, testing laboratory, it's truly the best lab. And the reason they are the best, because they don't fake your lab results. Most of them are due, and they test in parts per billion. Most of companies or most labs, they want to test in parts per billion because they would show positive for a lot of dangerous substance in these products. So I chose each source to work with from where was the best. I wasn't looking for convenient or price or none of that stuff. I was looking simply for the best. And if the best ended up being somewhere in Africa, I would be in Africa. So at this point, it was chosen for the best perspective, not from the let's make it convenient for me and my life and more financially beneficial. So we're all over the place. Chicago is the headquarters. At the moment, we're moving manufacturing in Chicago. But as I said, I'm in the harvest processes. I'm in the seeding. I'm in the soil. I help to develop the soil. So I am in manufacture. So I am in formulations. I also go in the lab in Florida. So I'm all over the place, make sure everything is done beyond perfect.
I do have a question. It has to, I can't help it, but you sound very technical about these terms, and someone can be like, well, what is your expertise in this? I mean, you did the research, but like your education, does it have to do anything with, anything with nutrition, medicine, or any of that, or none, or business? You just curiosity.
When you spend tens of thousands of hours and you give up your Christmas and you give up your birthday, you give up relationships, including your family and everybody out there. I mean, yeah, you become PhD in results. And of course, I'm not saying I'm the smartest person in the room. Absolutely no. Love to learn. I'm surrounded with, as I mentioned, as one of my copywriters who works for my company, he says psychogenius doctors, like not even just genius, psychogenius. Like when you talk to my experts and my doctors, like, oh my gosh, this is blowing the brains from the knowledge and information. And these people are like Stanford, Harvard. And also they do the different things. They don't really belong to the mainstream because of the politics. But that being said, like I did my own major research. I worked with the top brains in the world. And at the same time, I spent, people going to school to learn from the book. I did it on my own without a teacher. I just got connected with the brains I resonated myself the most. And until today, I'm, connected with all of them working, except Dr. Raphael, he just passed away recently. He was 95, 96 years old. So, he did pretty good. So he kept his endocannabinoid system empowered for a very long time. So that's what happens when you put that fuel in your body. You can keep going. He's a living example, he was a living example. So with that being said, no, I don't have a specific degree. My only one degree is that we have a PhD. I have PhD in results. We provide results. We don't provide promises. We provide results.
By the way, you enough said. I mean, listen, not historically, not everybody had a particular degree to actually become, the next inventor or the next biggest, element in the story, right? We've had many historical figures that actually did the work and stuff and became the research. They became the authority over time. But now here's the thing. I hear you talking about the best of the best and top. Now, what does that mean in terms of pricing? Because you are producing the highest quality. How is that because I mean, there's very cheap products, and typically that's usually what people kind of gravitate towards because like accept, like very attainable, affordable. But when you actually have these type of high, demand, to manufacture and to create these top line stuff, the price has to be a little higher than the average, if not high. But again, there's always a say, if you want the best, you got to pay the price, right? I mean, or something of that nature, right? Something of that level. You have to pay, for whatever you get. You get what you pay for, as the expression goes. So how are you in terms of that range? I mean, are you way up there? Are you decently priced, for people? And also, how can people get access to hemp, to Nesa's hemp?
Yeah, I think it's a really good question, but at the same time, I fully understand, and thank you for this question. I really love that. It's pretty painful for others to listen, but I'll share how it can be easy accessible. But yes, you get what you pay for. For example, and I'm just going to go very inside the business, very straightforward. Most hemp producers, they pay about $10 per pound of raw materials of hemp. Our raw materials of hemp is $250 per pound. It was $300. We just reduced to $250, so it's a little bit cheaper now. But the highest, most hemp producers would pay $30, $35 per pound. As I said, our price goes way above anybody out there. And there's reasons why. I can talk about our biological soil itself for hours or weeks, what we did to have soil and the cow sourcing from Japan, 19 generations, no vaccines. And I mean, we're talking about the things that exist some parts of the world that was brought here or connected through here. Like just to develop that biological soil, it was quite a project, right? Then the way you grow your plants and you extract and all that stuff that matters. And also, each of our bottles, when people buy, we have a little number on the bottom, and that little number you type in on our website and you can see exactly what's in your bottle. So we're so transparent where we can show you exactly what's in your bottle. So that testing itself is the most extensive and the most highest and most expensive panel of testing in a laboratory, but we want to give a peace of mind. So as I mentioned, like we want to provide people evidence. So peace of mind is when you type in your evidence on and you see from the laboratory, everything about your bottle is written right there. Pages of testing. And it's very expensive testing. But as I said, I want to provide, I don't want to speak, I want to provide value. So that being said, yes, it is expensive. It's over $100. But if you love the product, you can subscribe and get it every 6 weeks, every 4 weeks for $94. So with that being said, there is a way to get the product cheaper when you're on subscription. But keep in mind that our product is a CBDa. So it's a natural form of plant that is 1,000 times stronger than CBD. So you might not need that much as you take of CBD, regular $50 CBD, as you take Nesa's hemp, because it's way more potent, it's way more stronger, it's way more effective. And it connects with your endocannabinoid system immediately from the moment you touch it and put it in your mouth. So again, you might need to buy another product twice a month to get the results. And you see what I'm saying? And then you also have a subscription model. So with that being said, there is a ways to get a product cheaper, and it's still not that expensive. You're going to look from that perspective. Another thing, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to ship things here in Chicago. So when I'll do that, we're going to try to drop off the price a little bit also, because that's going to allow me not to travel as much also, and on each batch, so I can really be hands-on here locally. So when I'll have that, then we're going to be able to actually to make it a little bit cheaper. So that's going to also allow people, but also we have people who can't afford product, not even for anything. And we had the customers where they need it and they really need it, and I know them. They connected with me. I have a lady from Florida. They just can't afford it. So do you think I'm going to charge these people something? No, these people have free product. They just don't pay us. Of course, we don't give free for everybody. But with that being said, I've been I barely could cover my food. So I know what it feels to have no money. So we really have a solution for everybody. If you're really, really struggling, and if you really need that, just contact me, because as I mentioned, I'm here for people. I'm not here to just take money from everybody. So.
Well, first of all, thank you for transparency here. And by the way, even listen to your pricing. When you think about it, we spend more on other things daily that probably can add up to more than that. I mean, if you drink 2 cups of coffee a day, it's going to add up to more than that. If you smoke, it's probably going to add up more than that. So it all depends what our heads at and what our priorities is, and usually people find a way to cover any cost they want. And it is for health, and if it's gonna make the magical outcomes that you want, I think it beats a lot of stuff, because if your body is healthier, you're probably gonna perform better and do more, and your health is, again, your wealth, so it's worth the investment. So again, that's just, and by the way, that's for everything in life. If you want good quality, you got to pay the price for it, and provided it's, because sometimes you buy stuff that is expensive and may not be the quality, just high price. So, I love what you said. It's like you can really see what you get in and what the potency is. Plus, the keyword potency here is high. So you need less and you get more, as opposed to get a lot more just to get the same results. So you have balances. And it's, now, where is this product available? Is it like in online only through your website, or is it like, in very specific stores? Because I'll always said, like, beyond organic. I mean, we know organic, but we don't know about beyond organic. So is there any specific location where the hemp, Nesa's hemp, is specifically sold, or it's really strictly through your, delivery system?
The reason we say beyond organic is because organic still allows certain chemicals to go in your products, and I'm not okay with that. So I kind of started completely new industry, new standard that goes way above Proposition 65, organic levels. So it's called, Nesa's Beyond Organic, because we went beyond every organic standard that there is, and make it even higher. So that's why we're calling Beyond Organic. So yeah, you definitely can purchase online. That's really easy. We do have doctors that sell the product, but again, it probably would be hard to find, and people are busy. So try find their offices. I think the easiest way is to really get online. So we have 2 to 3, 4 days shipping, business days. So we have pretty fast shipping too, especially what part of the United States you're located. But with that being said, I think that's only one and the best way to purchase. We do have doctors, but better not to bother them.
So I know, like, in some states they have dispensaries. Do you work through dispensaries or not at all? This is exclusive through your network.
I personally never really even ask anyone to be part of this or to put our product in the dispensaries. Why? Because we are very special mindset. Like your body is your temple. When people go to dispensaries, they buy smokables, they buy things that they don't care what they put in their bodies. Since we care about what is in this plant, what is in the soil and everything so much, and there's so much investment there behind the scenes. So the person needs to understand that. And I feel like the audience is a little bit different. So no, we've been asked and we gave it a few dispensers only because the owners were super, super passionate about the product. It's like, please give me exclusivity. So I even gave them, I didn't care, but we try not to be. We're more like into very health, high category, and somebody who cares about every single part what they put in their body.
So I'm almost there. I mean, it's just so interesting that I can't stop asking. But so now you mentioned something about doctors. Does this require a prescription, or I mean, someone can just buy it if they do know that their body's got inflammation, whatever, something's bad, and they need something alternative. This will be something to kick off their body. They should be able to get. They don't need the particular doctor's, script, right?
Absolutely no. The CBD itself, I believe, is going to turn into the prescription model soon. As I mentioned, CBD is a drug. Since we are not a drug, we are actually a very natural compound that is actually just like, you don't need a prescription for spinach or apple. So except the hemp plant is very, very powerful medicinal wise. So no, there's no prescription needed because, as I said, it's such a natural version and it's not a drug. So it's different. Yeah, no prescription requirement.
Now you mentioned you put it in your mouth. Is this like, a droplet? I mean, how does that work?
One thing I want to mention, and I'm really positive about this, that if somebody is going to decide to purchase a product, I can personally guarantee that product works 100%. There's no way in the world that product is not going to do anything for you. It's just impossible. I never seen it, and we saw thousands and tens of thousands of bottles worldwide. So the only one time product can possibly fail you is if you take the wrong dose. So please play with the dose. If you feel like, if I know like somebody tries like a product and if they don't call me sooner or later and don't scream from happiness, oh my gosh, that changed my life, then I know this person is already on the wrong dose. Because usually people always call us and like, oh my gosh, it changed my life. Oh my gosh, like it just, people have these beautiful stories to share consistently daily. So with that being said, if you own the product and you put under the tongue, you follow instructions that are given in the little box, we send it to you, and you feel it's not helping you, contact us, contact customer service, but keep in mind it's a wrong dose, because you connecting our product is only one product on the market globally that is not activated. So the only one time the product gets activated when connects with your endocannabinoid system like this, and the activation happens for the first time. All products on the market are sold as already active. So our product is not active. It has a heartbeat in the bottle. So when you take it, when you open, when you put in your mouth, for first time, plant loses that virginity is in your mouth when it connects with your endocannabinoid system. So maybe your system is stronger, maybe your system is weaker. I don't know, but I just know that our product is very biological and your body is biological. So it's basically two natures getting together and deciding how they're going to communicate. So keep in mind, this is not a drug. This is very biological product. It works 100% guaranteed. If it doesn't, I'll send you, you'll be the first one. I'll send you money and bottles, whatever you want. And it really works, except keep in mind, you need to play with the dose. Probably 5 to 10% of the people need to play with the dose. 90% of the people can follow the suggested dose on the bottles, and they're just gonna experience results. And some people take it results immediately within a minute, and some people need minimum couple to 2 to 3 weeks start seeing something. So it depends. Each person is a little different. Be patient, but try the dose. Yes, it's putting under the tongue. I put it on my skin. I put it in my belly button. If you have any burn, sunburn, or any, you just hit yourself, or you just put some, I don't know, if you're going through surgery or you're after surgery, apply it topically, apply it in your skin, and you're going to see results, especially if you're going through some traumatic event. for your body physically. Athletes love it. They're pushing harder in the gym. People with all kinds of health conditions love it. And at the same time, it really helps for like a topical use. I mean, people use it. It's kind of doesn't look like it's a topical product, but people use it and I use it. And I use it for my wrinkles. It helps too.
It's an oil, right? So it's really, so you can use it. Yeah. Well, so here's a question. I'm sure someone's going to ask this one, so I'm just going to go for it. Is there an side effect, I would say? I mean, you think CBD, hemp, maybe I get a little oozy, I get a little high. I mean, this is not the same. This is natural. It goes into the system. Is there any reaction to that effect?
We don't have a THC because, as I mentioned, the THC is re-engineered. It's not original plants, and I don't like the way things are in the industry. So it's a THCA. THCA does not make you high, and it's not a drug form. Also, so with that being said, doesn't make you high, and you cannot have side effects from your own self. And I'm going to explain it why, because we don't have anything in that bottle that doesn't belong to you. Everything what's in that bottle is already in your body, basically. So we activating or we filling up your tank from something that you already have inside of you. And what's the difference on our products? That we have very pure, clean version of inside of you versus a lot of companies out there, since there's no regulations, only God knows what's in these products. Since I know, but you go figure out yourself and you're going to see its entire zoo.
Well, no, thank you. I mean, because again, most people with anything with cannabis, CBD, there's that like, this is, going to give me a little, a kick. This is going to give me a little munchies. Whatever. I'm going to be like excited. I'm going to be happy. It sounds that this is really just generating your own, system and kicking it, in gears and get you like, to fight better, whatever inflammation, and just get you like better in terms of your health, action. And that's really, I think that's top because you can't go wrong with that. All right. Well, I think I've run out of questions. I think we've covered a lot of angles. I don't think I missed anything here. But first of all, coming from you, you are the founder, the CEO of the company, and you really are talking with passion. You are talking and giving the almost the guarantee. You guaranteed it, really. I mean,
guaranteed it. That's what all of us.
Yeah, you do not get a lot of folks out there like I guarantee. I think there was a commercial like I guarantee it. That's one that I can recall. But most of the people don't have that endorsement of their products and believe in their products, and that makes it a difference. So Inesa, it's been real. I mean, it's a great story from soup to nuts, from your youth to now and where you are. And I'm sure you're going to go for more action and more stuff. Wish you all the best, in terms of growing, the company to the next level and maybe coming up with some other added value stuff. If you keep up the same model and maybe touch on other areas, I mean, I'm sure it's going to be, top of the line, and it's only going to benefit us as humans. I know you said you're going to you're filing through the European stuff so you can get also the products out there. So that's also another piece that's important for people to hear, because our shows do air, worldwide. So people can, at least expect that they should be able to get access to those products eventually. And so that's it. I just want to thank you for the time and for all your, explanation, insights. You kind of opened up our eyes and ears a little better about, this and stuff. And it added to all the other shows that we've covered. You've touched on a lot of things that are more in depth, I would say. But at the end of the day, I think it's a nice progression in terms of understanding the world of CBD, cannabis, and hemp. And then these things are always like question which one is which, and so I think we're getting closer to understanding this, and it becomes more of a household name, I would say, and a concept that we understand. Any last words of advice to our audiences?
Treat your body as a temple, and we do care about people, and yes, don't wait until things are too late, and that means your body is mutated, the cells is mutated, the glass is full. So love yourself. Just love yourself. God loves you. You love yourself. I love you. And just start treating yourself the way you deserve to be treated and change your life inside out.
All right. Well, so with those words of wisdom, thank you so much, Nesa, for being with us. And folks, thank you for watching, for listening in, and stay tuned for a different show, different guest, different topic. Talk soon. Bye for now.
Thank you.